Hello, you are watching MMA Fight Universe channel. Subscribe to the channel to follow all the important news of the fighting world. In today's weekly recap, we have UFC is suing Pillow Fighting Championship, Dana White laughs at PFL and Bellator, the bare-knuckle fight of the former UFC heavyweight legends, Logan Paul's fiancée finally replied to Dillon Danis, the face-off between Tyson Fury and Francis Ngannou, Jake Paul and Nate Diaz go back and forth over a rematch in MMA. Best knockouts of the week and what's next for Strickland and Israel Adesanya. In the ongoing case involving the Patent and Trademark Office, the Ultimate Fighting Championship has formally raised objections to Pillow FC's trademark application, asserting that it has the potential to create confusion due to its branding. The initial report on this matter was published by the New York Post, in which Pillow Fight Championship's CEO, Steve Williams, expressed his view that the UFC's claims were unwarranted and deemed them ridiculous. To prevent any further confrontation with the formidable multi-billion-dollar corporation, Pillow FC, the emerging contender, decided to make alterations to their logo. The original logo featured PFC in red, with Pillow Fight Championship written below it, potentially raising concerns about similarities with the UFC's logo. Although Pillow FC disagreed with the notion that confusion would arise, they opted to modify their logo, changing it to orange to clearly distinguish it from the red used by the leading MMA organization. Pillow Fighting presents a distinct and intriguing alternative to what Dana White is promoting. Pillow FC has introduced a unique product, featuring specially designed pillows equipped with grip handles and straightforward rules aimed at delivering entertaining action in professional pillow fights. Matches consist of 3 one-minute rounds, with strict limitations on pushing, grappling, or using anything other than the pillow for striking. They also reward extra points for knockdowns, spinning strikes, and showmanship. While their roster typically includes competitors from various backgrounds, such as models and influencers, they have also attracted MMA fighters, including UFC strawweight and Pillow FC champion Istela Nunes, along with UFC veterans Marcus Brimage and Marcus Perez. Overall, professional pillow fighting appears to be a captivating concept that has garnered attention not only on social media but also from networks like ESPN's The Ocho, which recently showcased this emerging combat sport. The rationale behind the UFC's decision to involve lawyers in this seemingly trivial matter remains unknown. However, it's worth noting that pillow fighting appears to be a more engaging and considerably less perilous endeavor compared to the heavily promoted slap fighting, which Dana White and the UFC have been emphasizing in their efforts to appeal to MMA enthusiasts. The former UFC heavyweight champion ended a 5-fight losing streak by inflicting a brutal beating on fellow former champion Fabricio Werdum, ultimately securing a split decision victory in his debut in the world of bare-knuckle MMA. This thrilling bout headlined Gamebred BareKnuckle 5 on Friday. From the opening bell, Dos Santos took control of the fight, consistently peppering Werdum with jabs, looping hooks, and low kicks. He also managed to open a cut on Werdum's face and sent him to the canvas with a powerful right hand late in the first round. Although Werdum survived and attempted unsuccessful takedowns to stay in the fight, his left eye was a gruesome sight by the third round, at times appearing as if his eyelid was on the verge of tearing. When the final verdict was rendered, 2 judges scored the contest 30-27 in favor of Dos Santos, while one puzzlingly saw it 29-28 for Werdum. Dana White appears unfazed by competition and remains unperturbed by reports suggesting that the PFL, Professional Fighters League, may be closing in on a deal to acquire Bellator MMA. Speculation has been circulating for months that Paramount has been exploring options to divest Bellator from its portfolio, with various potential buyers in contention. Recently, Front Office Sports reported that the PFL was approaching the acquisition of Bellator with a hefty $500 million price tag. In the days following this news, the PFL made an announcement regarding their intention to sell a minority stake in the organization to SRJ Sports Investments, an entity connected to the Saudi Arabia Public Investment Fund, for a sum of $100 million. This development further fueled speculation about the possibility of the PFL purchasing Bellator. While the outcome of this rumored deal remains uncertain, it is unlikely that the UFC will step in to seize Bellator from the grasp of the PFL.
Run a business, and I do lots of things for charity. Most of these other guys are all running charities, not business. Like I say, you can only do that for so long before it runs out and it ends. So we will see. When you guys ask me these kind of questions, you ask me like this is the first time I've seen things like this, or the first time somebody with money was getting involved. It's about a lot more than money.
Kind of piggybacking off of the PFL talks, there was all these rumors of PFL talking about purchasing Bellator, that Bellator was possibly up for sale. If they are in fact or were in fact up for sale, has the UFC expressed any interest in possibly buying out Bellator?
Why on God's green fucking earth would anybody buy Bellator?
Dillon Danis finds himself entangled in a legal predicament due to his online activity. TMZ was the first to report that Nina Agdal has initiated a lawsuit against the fighter, seeking unspecified damages but not less than $150,000 in a settlement. In the court documents, the fiancée of Logan Paul stated that she has endured humiliation, emotional distress, and damage to her reputation. Furthermore, she has accused Dillon Danis, or someone associated with him, of hacking into her Snapchat account. Numerous private photos and videos were subsequently shared on social media prior to Danis' fight with Logan Paul. To put an end to this intrusive posting, Nina Agdal has taken legal action by filing a restraining order against the former MMA fighter. Dillon's reply to the lawsuit was in style. It seems like a 30-year-old fighter ran away to Korea to avoid all legal interactions as well as continue training camp. Here are some highlights of the Ngannou vs. Fury press conference.
And in our conversation, one thing that I precisely request from Mike Tyson was whenever I fight Tyson Fury, would he be in my corner? And at that time, everybody was looking at me as a fool to even thinking of fighting Tyson Fury. And today, it's happening.
You know how good I move. I'm like the Matrix in there, baby.
I know. And you know I'm going to find you.
I know you can fight, and I know you can punch hard too. So I know it. I'm not underestimating it.
I'm coming for everything.
Good, and so you should. And if you beat me, you become the lineal world heavyweight champion. It goes back to the days of John L. Sullivan, the man who beat the man who beat the man who beat the man, going back to the olden days. You will be the Uno, #1 in the division. The best man will win. There is no two ways about it. Whoever's the best on the night will win the fight. That's it.
World champion in boxing. Because in fighting, I think you are very limited in general. Just
no,
besides
not
boxing.
Fighting, because I think I can beat
Fighting
you in the cage.
in general, you're very limited.
I would kick your ass in a cage, no problem.
No, you can't dare. You can't even
100%.
think about that.
100%.
But just focus on
I'll beat you in the boxing ring,
just
and then I'll
focus
kick
on
your ass in the
season,
cage.
and then we will see after.
100%. I'll beat you at boxing, I'll beat you in a cage. No problem.
No, bro.
No problem.
Focus on boxing.
No problem.
For right now.
Best
That's
at
what you can
boxing,
do.
and I'll beat him in a cage fight. No two ways about it.
Francis Ngannou acknowledges that he'll be considered the underdog when he faces Tyson Fury in the boxing ring on October 28th. However, if a potential rematch were to take place in the realm of MMA, the tables would be turned in a significant manner. What do you think if Fury defeats Ngannou in boxing? Will they see each other in the cage? Leave your comments below. In August, after nearly a year of exchanging verbal jabs through the media, Jake Paul and Nate Diaz finally met in their highly anticipated boxing match, with Paul securing a unanimous decision victory in a closely contested bout. Following the match, the two initially appeared to part ways on amicable terms, even discussing the prospect of a rematch in the realm of MMA. However, it seems that the two combat sports stars have reignited their feud. In an interview with TMZ Sports regarding his upcoming fight, Paul alleges that Diaz declined a substantial offer for a rematch to take place inside the cage.
So he's not the badass that everyone said he was, because I wanted to fight him in MMA and do something that no boxer has really ever done, which is in the prime of their career, go over to MMA. MMA fighters have gone to boxing, but I want to go into MMA, and Nate Diaz ducked the offer. So we're at the board.
Nate replied in his regular manner. Let's see how things will develop. Perhaps we will see the famous YouTuber testing his abilities not only in the ring. Before we start talking about the results of UFC 293, let us introduce to you the most epic knockouts of the week. During an Agoge Fight League event in Goodlettsville, Tennessee, this past weekend, an amateur bout concluded in a remarkable 2 seconds when Travis Lawrence boldly strode across the cage and delivered a devastating blow to his opponent, Dawson Dillard. Dillard's defensive skills were evidently lacking, but it's conceivable that he was taken aback by Lawrence's sudden appearance right in front of him, followed by an explosive punch to the face. Witness the moment for yourself and give credit to Lawrence for sharing various angles of this exceptional highlight. To clarify, this was an authentic 2-second spectacle, devoid of any timing gimmicks. 1 second was all it took for Lawrence to advance, and in the following second, his punch swiftly incapacitated Dillard. Before another second elapsed, the referee was already rushing in to halt the fight. Truly surreal. In Wolverhampton, England, a relatively unassuming event hosted by Golden Ticket Fight Promotions took an unexpected turn, featuring Zana Kaleri pulling off a remarkable move against Callum Turberfield. The decision-making process behind Kaleri's choice to execute this particular kick, its successful connection, and its astonishing effectiveness remain shrouded in mystery. However, when a fighter displays such audacious determination, their efforts deserve recognition, and Kaleri received a richly deserved reward in the form of a once-in-a-lifetime knockout. At Fighting Force 12 in Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic, Elias Santos unleashed a looping head kick that, while perhaps lacking the elegance of earlier examples, was nonetheless highly efficient. MMA is truly a unique sport. Sean Strickland has now joined the esteemed company of Holly Holm and Matt Serra, achieving a remarkable upset victory to seize the middleweight championship at UFC 293. His unanimous decision triumph over Israel Adesanya has firmly engraved his name in the annals of history. This marks a seismic shift in the middleweight division. Prior to this bout, aside from Alex Pereira, no one had managed to dethrone Adesanya in the middleweight category, and Strickland was not a prominent contender in most people's predictions. Now that Strickland holds the championship, the burning question on everyone's mind is whether he can successfully defend his title. His inaugural title defense promises to be a must-watch event, considering his extraordinary accomplishment. As for Adesanya, he finds himself in unfamiliar territory, transitioning from being the hunted to becoming the hunter in the division. Whether he secures an immediate rematch or opts to take on another opponent before vying for the championship again adds an intriguing twist to his storyline. Let's explore what might be the best course of action for each fighter. The most apparent scenario suggests that these two competitors will likely have a rematch, as is customary for long-reigning champions, and Adesanya unquestionably qualifies for this despite briefly losing his belt to Alex Pereira. However, when considering what's optimal for Strickland, he should endeavor to convince the decision-makers to grant him an opportunity to face a different challenger. Strickland was a significant underdog for a reason. Adesanya is a cerebral striker with a multifaceted skill set. As evidenced by the recent two-fight series between Amanda Nunes and Juliana Pena, a rematch doesn't always favor the surprise champion. Instead, Strickland should campaign for a showdown with Dricus du Plessis, the South African fighter who was initially slated to face Adesanya at UFC 293 but withdrew due to an undisclosed injury. Both UFC President Dana White and Adesanya expressed frustration with du Plessis for pulling out, yet he has earned his shot at the title with an impeccable 6-0 record since joining the UFC in 2020. While it would unquestionably be a formidable challenge for Strickland, du Plessis' power, strength, and size present an intriguing matchup for Strickland's volume-based approach. Nonetheless, it would be wiser to test these uncharted waters than to attempt to replicate his performance against the now-dethroned champion. As for Adesanya, he doesn't have any other viable option. A shocking loss like this typically demands an immediate opportunity for redemption. As previously noted, Adesanya has consistently demonstrated his tactical brilliance inside the cage, with an uncanny ability to land precise counterstrikes. Unfortunately, this time, his prowess did not come to fruition. However, he has accrued enough credibility to warrant a rematch, regardless of whether Strickland desires one or not. There's a possibility that Adesanya may not have approached the fight with the requisite focus, as he was publicly contemplating potential matchups against Dricus du Plessis or the winner of the Paulo Costa vs. Khamzat Chimaev bout, even before defending his title against Strickland. If circumstances align in favor of the former champion, he may secure an immediate shot at redemption. After all, he has vanquished nearly every other notable contender in the UFC's middleweight division, positioning himself as the top candidate for another title opportunity. With Alex Pereira now competing in the light heavyweight division, Adesanya has a fresh and legitimate rivalry on his hands. It would be in his best interest to swiftly arrange the next chapter of their encounters. That was it for today. We hope this video provided some informative value, and if it did, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you don't want to miss our weekly recap of the fighting world. Until next time, take care.